It is worth considering that 20 of Hertha Berlin's last 24 Bundesliga goals have come after half-time. They have been dogged and determined. Can they be dangerous as well, or will Borussia Dortmund find a way through in the second period? A change at half-time. The 19-year-old forward Jessic Ngankam has come on to replace Dodi Lukebakio. I'm your match commentator, Kevin Hatchard, still alongside me. Man who won over 100 caps for his country, Australia, Mark Schwarzer, is with me. And from Hertha's point of view, Mark, more of the same, you would think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, they've obviously had two forced changes in this, in the first 45 minutes, now into the second half, which obviously is not ideal. However, I think they'll just continue along the same path as they did, the same vein they did in the first half. It's worked well, effective for them. They've really limited Dortmund's opportunities in front of goal.
The young man who's come on, and Ngankam was set to leave the club before Bruno Labbadia arrived, and took a look at him and thought we should keep this guy. He has now agreed a new contract. He's been with Hertha since he was 5 years old. Space here for Guerrero, Delaney, and they couldn't find Jadon Sancho, who was all alone. Sancho can't believe that Delaney couldn't locate him there. That's a big chance gone missing.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the first time in this game, really, that you can see they caught out a little bit. Sixes and sevens, Dortmund Hertha unorganised, but fortunately for them, Eswein got back, tracked all the way back, and made the crucial interception.
Just don't think he saw him. Simple as that. There is Jadon Sancho. Remarkable figures once again this season. 17 goals and 16 assists. Dortmund have scored 80 Bundesliga goals this season. It's been involved in 33 of them. That is a hefty chunk. It's a lovely ball by Witzel. Kimi did well to keep it in. Here is Sancho. Grujic. Now Darida. Space on the counter here. Eswein. Wayward ball. He was looking for Darida. Not accurate enough. Bruno Labbadia has never won a league game in Dortmund as a coach. He's taking charge of a team in the Bundesliga for the 250th time tonight. The first of those matches was against Dortmund 12 years ago. Labbadia's Leverkusen lost 3-2. Here is Darida. Ibisevic. Grujic really hit that. And Delaney just shrugged it off. The flag was up in any case. Delaney looks as though he's made of iron sometimes.
Yeah, he does. And I think it was Ibisevic who just strayed a little bit in the offside there. We can see it in the replay. Yeah, Lyons has got that spot on. You can see there when Emre Can got caught out of position, the first player that went back into covering position was Axel Witzel, and that was really good defending from him, really good positional play. See the danger, get back in position and help your team out.
Raised a lot of eyebrows when Vedran Ibisevic got the nod ahead of the winter signing Christoph Piontek when Bruno Labbadia came in, but Labbadia says we don't line up according to transfer fees. It doesn't matter how long you have on your contract or how much you cost. You'll be judged the same as everyone else, and there has been a feeling since he came in that there has been a clean slate for everyone. Kakarik's come back in. We've seen Alex Eswein finally be given a chance today, the man on the ball now. Saw Matthew Leckie come on against Augsburg, and it does make a difference to players if they feel motivated and have something to fight for. Here's Grujic. Pekarik. Targets to aim for here. Grujic. Bisected the two players on the far side there. We've talked about this before, Mark, about as players you want honesty, don't you? But also when a new coach comes in, I guess you just want a fair crack of the whip, don't you?
I think everyone does, yeah. The minute they walk in through that door, what you want is not the same old same. You know, as a player that may have been on the fringes before, maybe felt that he's been harshly treated, just discarded, not given a fair opportunity. You hope that the new manager comes in and just assesses it based on your training. And if your training has been up to a certain level and you feel that you've been as good, if not better, than the players around you, you feel like you've got a chance, and particularly when the manager makes those sort of decisions and includes you.
Given away by Shellbreds.
Those first couple of days when the new manager comes in is always an interesting one, you know. Some players, some players that hadn't really lifted a foot for a couple of months. New manager comes in, the whole thing changes.
Here's Hakimi. Oh, really dangerous ball. Hazard kept it alive. And Jadon Sancho can't hit the target. Big chance for the England international.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. Hakimi looks up, sees the pass to the far post, gets in a great position. Guerrero. Sancho makes room for himself, tries to open up the shoulder, the hips, just doesn't get around it enough. His direction there, you can see he's actually pretty far off it. He knows he's got Boyata coming across to make a block. He's got Rui Jahrstein in that area. He knows he has to get it inside that post. But it's really wayward, an uncharacteristic wayward shot from Jadon Sancho from that sort of position.
It's the clearest sight of goal he's had so far tonight, and he couldn't make the most of it. Davida making nuisance of himself once again. It's rather clumsy from Emre Can. Do you always think he looks more comfortable in midfield, Mark? Does he look... He can do that job defensively, but he does look more at home as a midfielder, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But that is his main position, is in playing in midfield. Yes, he has got the versatility, the ability to play at centre-half, but we've seen in this game already that midfield traits are all coming out. He's taking the ball, he's dribbling it out, he's getting forward, that instance there, trying to win the ball in a position where he probably shouldn't have gone in as quickly, as heavy as he did.
In by Mittelstedt, away by Emre Can. Here is Brandt on the move, and this is where they come alive, looking for Jadon Sancho, and there was Torunariga with a vital touch, maybe a goal-saving touch. Guerrero. Neat control by Hakimi, and he'll go for goal. And he got right underneath it, Hakimi.
Tell you what, Torunariga was in an unbelievable position there. You know what, he's really up against it. It's 3 against 1. And it's more about the pass from Julian Brandt than anything else. Torunariga is just lucky that it was in that sort of direction. He was able to flick his heel on it. Otherwise, it was Jadon Sancho through one-on-one with the keeper. And generally, there's only one winner.
So 8 minutes into the second half and still no breakthrough so far. Bruno Labbadia, the Hertha coach, said that his team would have to continue what they've been doing, play with passion, heart, desire, have a strong defensive strategy. You can tick all of those so far. Delaney running into a blue and white brick wall in Grujic there. And here is Darida. Ibisevic. Witzel in the right place at the right time. It is on a knife edge, this game. Sancho always so confident in possession, and now turning on the turbos. Torgan Hazard. Guerrero. It's all at full stretch there, Dortmund. Again, Boyata is there to extinguish the fires.
Yeah, he did really well there, Boyata. Firstly, it was a bit of concern, even though you see him sprinting forward with the ball there in a lot of space. There were moments there when you just thought, if he goes too far, there's no way he's getting back in case he loses possession. And the minute he had 2 Dortmund players around him, it was key that he didn't lose possession, that he won the ball, kept hold of the ball, and in the end he gets the throw-in.
Just to underline what Hertha are up against today, Dortmund have scored 4 goals or more on 10 occasions in the league this season. That's already a club record. And in 6 of those games, they've scored 5 goals or more. They've scored 80 times in 29 league games. That's the scale of the task facing the men in blue and white. Here is Delaney. Borussia Dortmund are held here, and it's a 9-point gap between them and Bayern München in the title race, with only 4 games left after this one. Darida. Oh, it's come through for Esvine. Alex Esvine! That's a huge chance for Hertha.
Yeah, brilliant chance that was. Absolutely great run, good play, win the ball in a great position, and then turn defence into attack. Darida, really good ball there. Through into Esvine. Esvine is in a very difficult position. He has to make a decision. Does he swing and shoot, which he does in the end? He tries it, and he's not far wide, but I think had it been a little bit closer on target, I think Berkey was in the right position there to get his fingertips on it. But there are warning signs again for both sides, really, at both ends. And Hertha are showing that they're capable and willing to get forward and put Dortmund under pressure and possibly sneak a goal.
Here is Brandt. Now Guerrero. Hazard on the move, and again Boyata flawless. He has been extraordinarily good tonight.
Yeah, he certainly has, and I don't think it's just been tonight. You know, he's been excellent the whole season. He's been one of the players that has stood out right from day one, and that was such an important challenge. And also the timing was impeccable. Had he got that even an inch of a second or inch of a centimetre out of it, or an inch, how am I trying to say this, but an inch out, we'll be in trouble.
Either will do. It's
exactly
fine. It's going to be Hazard to take it. Whipped in with pace. Witzel to try and keep it alive. Hakimi. Now Jadon Sancho. Can. Also lovely header by Brandt. Can is there! Beautifully finished by Emre Can. And there is Dortmund's breakthrough. They finally prized open the door, and Jarstein is beaten. It is Emre Can who scores the opener.
Yeah, the signs were there, weren't they? Dortmund were pushing more and more in this as this game went on. And again, it was just the movement. You know, you can see there, really good touch there from Julian Brandt. And for the first time that I can remember, a Dortmund player, when he gets in that position to enter the box, he's in a position where he's able to get a shot away first time. And it's a really good finish. Really good finesse, direction there, control. Didn't try and smash it, just got the direction correct. And it ends up in the back of the net.
Delight for Lucien Favre. At long last, they have found a way to take the lead. And it is an unlikely source, Emre Can, with his first Bundesliga goal in this stadium. He did score an absolute cracker against Bayer Leverkusen in a losing cause at the Bayer Arena. But he has a goal in front of the yellow wall, even though it is an empty yellow wall right now. And a low goal probability, just 12%. He still found the bottom corner.
He had a lot of players to beat in front of him. He had also beat Rune Jarstein from that sort of distance with not too much power, but more direction. And I think Rune Jarstein was a little bit unsighted when the ball initially left his foot.
Here is Skrujic. Gakam running into trouble. It's an interesting dilemma now for Hertha, because having conceded that goal, do they take more risks, or do they just dig in and hope that they can grab something?
Well, I think it's a bit more of the same. I think, you know, the way that Hertha have sort of played is they've tried to contain Dortmund. They've made the space in the pockets really difficult, really condensed. And then at times when they get the ball, they've tried to hit Dortmund on the counter. But unfortunately, in this half in particular, they've been a little bit wayward. They haven't held on to the ball as well as they should have. And they haven't shown enough patience to cause any real threats.
So that run continues. Dortmund have now scored in 29 Bundesliga home games in a row against Hertha. Witzel finding Hakimi. So quick, Sancho. That's good defending by Mittelstedt. Ball cannoning off Piszczek. I'm quite sure how he's trying to argue that that should be a corner. Hertha have been scoring plenty of goals of late. They've scored at least twice in each of their last 6 Bundesliga matches. It's the first time they've done that since 1976. They've already scored 21 league goals in 2020. They've got 22 in the whole first half of the season. So they will feel they can make something happen. Delaney having to react there. It was a bit loose from Dortmund in their own half. An hour gone. And it is delicately poised. Emre Can with the breakthrough. Clumsy from Pekarik, nothing more than that. Here come reinforcements. It's Krzysztof Piątek, the Polish international, who will come on, and Per Shelbreds is the man who's coming off. So a defensive midfielder goes off and a striker comes on. And they call El Pistolero, the gunslinger, comes on to try and fire Hertha level. And he is on form. He scored in each of his last 2 games. Scored the second goal against Augsburg last weekend. He scored a penalty in the game before that against RB Leipzig in a 2-2 draw. He's got 3 goals in all in the Bundesliga since joining in January. Last season in Italy's Serie A, he got 22 league goals. Spent the first half of that season in Genoa, and the second half at Milan.
Well, that's to answer your question there. How would Bruno Labbadia now approach the game after going 1-0 down? Well, with an attacking option, going on the front foot, taking a defensive midfielder off and putting a striker on and trying to make a go of it to get back in this game.
Hakimi making the extra man, as always. Here is Sancho. Balletic skills. So nimble. Here is Hazard. Just caught there by Ngankam. Been a couple of those from Jessic Ngankam. Youthful over-exuberance in trying to win that ball back. Says he's been working towards that pro contract for most of his life, and Ngankam delighted to extend his stay at the club he loves. Here is Sancho. Oh, nearly came through for Brands, who realised at the last moment that the possibility existed. Just a good header by Can. He's going to have to defend in muscular fashion with Piątek now added to that Hertha attack. Pulled the strings with as much clarity as usual, Julian Brandt tonight.
I mean, he was instrumental in the goal. I mean, the movement that he made and the header, the direction of the header in the path of Emre Can that led to the goal was excellent. But since then, you're right. I think he's been a little bit off, and he's found it difficult to find the space and the array of passes that we're so used to seeing from him.
Here is Pekarik. Space opening up for Darida, and he hit that well, but Witzel slams that door shut. It's another one from Ngankam and another free kick. Hazard again caught. I do set the bar higher for Julian Brandt than most players, truth be told, because he is so good.
Yeah. Ngankam, I think he's a little bit unlucky on this occasion. The other ones were fair enough. He did catch Hazard in the previous challenge. I think just there, I think he's a little bit unlucky that the referee's blown against him.
It's fair to say Jessic Ngankam's a bit pumped up for this. He's certainly trying to impress.
Well, what you want is you want someone with enthusiasm, that energy on the pitch, but obviously there's that balance, isn't there? And what it's going to probably need is one of his teammates to have a quiet word in his ear to say, listen, you know, just pull it in a little bit, you know, control that enthusiasm a little bit more, and be a little bit more clinical.
Fedor Ibisevic making his presence felt, as he tends to do with referees. Regular dialogue, which he's entitled to do as captain, of course. Dortmund, as you would expect, ahead in terms of possession, ahead on the shot count, but they're being made to work tonight if they want to close the gap on Bayern 7 points once again. They're going to have to really scrap for it. Here is Hakimi, who is on loan from Real Madrid. He was offered a trial by Real as a youngster by post. He said he thought his father was joking when he said that he had a letter from Real Madrid. But the dream did indeed come true. Here is Guerrero. Brandt now. Torgan Hazard. No Erling Haaland tonight. He is back in training, but not part of the squad this evening. Still struggling a bit with that knee injury. Hazard. Witzel. Good pressing from Piontek, but Witzel is so calm, unruffled. Here is Sancho moving through the gears. Hakimi. And the offside flag is raised. A misjudgment there, an error in timing. What have you made of Jadon Sancho's performance tonight, Mark?
You know, he's shown glimpses. And I think what Dortmund have done really well is Hertha have done really well is they've contained them. They've made that space very congested, very difficult for players like Jadon Sancho, Hazard, Julian Brandt, this man who's just come off now. I think they've made it really difficult for them to find that area to interchange, and hence the reason why their time on the ball has been limited.
17-year-old Gio Reyna replacing Julian Brandt, youngest ever US player in the Bundesliga, and he made his debut. This is his 12th substitute appearance in the Bundesliga tonight. He's a remarkable young talent, Gio Reyna. Parents were both USA internationals, his mother Danielle and his father Claudio. Played his trade in the Premier League as well. Well, we're into the final quarter, and still just the one goal separating these teams. Ganka and his father Claudio played his trade in the Premier League as well. Well, we're into the final quarter, and still just the one goal separating these teams. Gankam trying to pressure Akanji there. Get the sense, Mark, with Manuel Akanji, there was a spell where his form dipped, but this season he seems to have really got that assurance back that we saw when he first came into the league.
Yeah, he's definitely been a lot more settled, and he hasn't been as rash. I think that's one of the keys, that he's been more controlled with his emotions and his timing of his challenges. At times, you know, when you continuously make those sort of rash decisions, you jump in, you dive in, you get beaten, you start to always ask questions of yourself. Do you drop? Do you go forward? And then in the end, you do neither, and you do neither of them well. And I think what he's done well, he's got Mats Hummels next to him. That relationship has been very positive and very successful. Obviously, with Axel Witsel in front of him, Delaney, he's got sufficient cover, and he's got legs to get back and help out in defence. That makes their team, the job of the team to defend so much more easier when you've got other players around you that do that work.
Has a tattoo, Akanji, that says, "Prove them wrong." I think he might have done that with a few critics this season.
I think that's a pretty valid tattoo that pretty much any sports person could probably have put, where, because I think everyone's been through it. I've been through it. I think everyone has had their doubters throughout their whole career, their life, and it's no different.
Not tempted by the tattooist's needle yourself, Mark?
Not quite yet, mate. I think it's not probably the right sort of environment to go and get a tattoo right now.
Not right now. I'm hopeless with needles. That wouldn't end well. In by Mittelstedt. On by Ibisevic. Here's Ngankam.
Quite yet, mate. I think it's not probably the right sort of environment to go and get a tattoo right now.
Not right now. I'm hopeless with needles. That wouldn't end well. In by Mittelstedt. On by Ibisevic. Here's Ngankam. And he does win the free kick, and he did really well there, the youngster, succouring Hazard into the challenge.
Yeah, for once it was the reverse, wasn't it? Torgan Hazard now committing the foul on Ngankam. Yeah, you can see there, it's just that touch there. And Ngankam does really well. Keeps possession of the ball. He's wanting that foul. He wants that on Ngankam. Yeah, you can see there, it's just that touch there. And Ngankam does really well. Keeps possession of the ball. He's wanting that foul. He wants that connection. And he wants the opportunity to get a free kick in a really dangerous position for his team.
Now this is interesting because Marvin Plattenhardt, who'd usually fancy this, is absent today because of concussion. And one wonders in his absence who will strike it. It is an angle you would think for a left footer, but Derrida is over it. Do they hit it or do they lift it to the far post? Or do they do neither? It's Derrida in towards Boyata. Peace check away from his Polish compatriot Piątek. That's excellent from Łukasz Piszczek. Here is Reina.
Well, I think what you could see there in that instance with that free kick is that Hertha actually don't have a player on the pitch at the moment that feels that they have the ability to get it up and over from that sort of range. Because if there were, that was in a great position to have a go directly at goal.
Didn't look like one they'd worked on the training grounds. Here is Esvine trying to improvise. That's the same thing as you said before, Mark. He's desperate to play with the right foot instead of the left.
Yeah, no, left foot by the looks of things. Wanted to try to hit it with the outside of his right foot. There's not too many players that I've ever come up against or seen or played with that have only been one-footed and literally only ever played with that one foot. And the only person that springs to mind is Paul Merson in the Premier League. Other than that, generally players use both.
Driven in by Derrida. Burki should get there and does. I think it's fair to say Merson used that one foot fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, he was incredible at using the outside of that right foot whenever he needed to.
If any of you are unaware of the work of Paul Merson, I suggest you look him up on a few video clips. You'll be delighted by what you see. Here is Guerrero. Derrida's been absolutely everywhere.
Well, we know he's got the ability to cover every blade of grass on that football pitch, and he's shown, he's got the record of the most ground covered in a game in the Bundesliga. I mean, I think for him, that's a given. That's the foundation. The bare minimum you're going to get from him is a lot of work.
I'm tired just watching him. Well, it doesn't take much, truth be told. Piątek battling. And Jan's done well. Really well. Scorer of the only goal so far, Emre Can. Beautifully taken. To Runariga and Hazard tangling, and it's to Runariga who comes out on top. Having a good season, Torgan Hazard. Opening campaign as a Dortmund player. Turn by Ibisevic. Here is Pekarik. That's too strong from Derrida. Just for a moment, Roman Burki might have had flashbacks to Joshua Kimmich's chip, but no problem there.
Yeah, just again wayward delivery into the box, and Hertha haven't done that well today, and they're going to have to try and get better at it between now and the end of the game. If they get any more opportunities in those sort of dangerous areas, they've got to try and put Dortmund under a bit more pressure. get Ibisevic involved more, and so far he's had very limited involvement.
Smashed away by Can. I don't think he was expecting that ball. He only realised quite late that it was coming his way. Here's Delaney. It's a lovely ball, Hakimi, and this is where they're so dangerous. Reina, Hakimi, not this time. It's going to come Esfine's way, but that is a heavy touch from Alexander Esfine.
Yeah, they just haven't been good enough at the moment, Hertha. When they do break, when they do get the ball in a decent position, trying to turn a defence into attack, they've more often than not either had a heavy touch, misdirected pass, held on to it too long, and it's been disappointing going forward for Hertha.
Ticking towards the final quarter of an hour, and the tension is going to start rising here the longer it stays at 1-0. Mittelstedt with the challenge, and that was clumsy from Esfine. He's taken out Gio Reyna there. That's going to be a yellow card for Alexander Esfine. I think they call that taking one for the team, don't they, Mark?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's taking one for the team, but it's a rash challenge in that sort of area. Yeah, it's a clear foul. It's not intentional. He clearly goes for the ball, and it's just the timing. And you know, that sort of clearance, I mean, the timing has to be absolutely spot on, trying to hit a bouncing ball like that when you're sliding on your side, and unfortunately got it horribly wrong.
As you can see, it's absolutely pouring down in Dortmund, but it has not been raining goals today, just the one. Can Jadon Sancho and company change that? The man brought down. Grew up in the town of Getafe on the outskirts of Madrid, Achraf Hakimi. And he certainly hasn't forgotten his roots. He set up a video game tournament recently to raise money for those affected by COVID-19 in Getafe. His parents are Moroccan, moved to Spain. He was offered the chance to play for the country of his birth, but he wanted to represent Morocco, the country of his parents. And what a player Morocco have on their hands. He is such a talented player, still just 21. Well, it's still 1-0. It is still so delicately poised. Here's Mittelstedt. Looking long for Ngankam. What's a lovely first touch. Away by Can. That was delectable control from Jessica Ngankam.
Yeah, Ngankam's first touch was really good. Just the final touch there, trying to lay it off, was slightly underhit and enabled Dortmund to clear.
12 to go. As things stand, Dortmund moving to within 7 points of Bayern at the top. And it'll be a big step towards Champions League qualification as well. With their 3 direct rivals for second, third and fourth all slipping up this weekend. Change here, and it's a young man who made his debut in the Bundesliga at the weekend who's going to come on. Mateo Morey, and he replaces Sorgen Hazard. He's defender. And Witzel to be replaced as well. And it is Leonardo Balerdi, the Argentinian, who comes on for him. Now, he dropped into midfield at the weekend, Balerdi. But I wonder if he'll slot into defence and Can will move forward. We'll see. So Mateo Morey, Spanish defender, comes on. for Hazard, and Witzel making way for Balerdi. Here is Guerrero. Reina. Scored an absolute stunner in the DFB Cup against Werder Bremen. Gio Reyna is yet to score in the Bundesliga. Here is Balerdi running into trouble. He does seem to have moved straight into midfield, Balerdi. Here's Darida. He was just behind Desvine there. Into the final 10 minutes. Emre Can, scorer of the only goal so far. How have they rearranged, Mark? They've brought Balerdi on, they've brought Moret on.
Well, it looks like obviously Emre Can stayed at the back next to Akanji. Don't want to disrupt your centre-half pairing if you don't have to at this late stage of a game. And you can see they've just brought on Moret. You can see him on the ball now out wide. He's obviously looking to link up out wide, get extra fresh legs there to try and get at Hertha and cause them issues. And Balerdi in midfield just taking over that position from Axel Witzel.
Can play as a defender or a midfielder, Balerdi. Signed from Boca Juniors. One of the most famous clubs in South America. Piszczek. Away by Boyata. Another excellent game from him tonight. Oh, that was loose from Mittelstadt, really loose. Guerrero finds Sancho. Jadon Sancho. And it was Torunariga who got the block in. A glimpse of a chance for Jadon Sancho.
It almost opened up for him there, but Torunariga was wise to it. Saw him ready to line up and have that shot, and he was very quick to get out there and put on a good block.
Labbadia has made such a positive difference to Hertha. Described as a great guy by the sporting director Michael Preetz. Says he's shown that he can stabilise teams and take them to the next level. Still just the one goal. Whipped in with pace, only half cleared. It's all a bit awkward and it bounced wide of the target. Now Can feels there was a handball in there. It was all a bit messy from Hertha's point of view, and they got away with it, but has there been a handball for Benjamin Brandt, the video assistant in Cologne, to have a look at?
I mean, I can't see. I mean, I know it does hit his hands, but where's he going to put his hands? I'd be very surprised if the referee gave that as a penalty. Boyata just throws himself out there. And it's given a corner, and I think that's a correct decision.
Well, Emre Can gave away a controversial penalty on Sunday in Paderborn, a decision that he felt was unjust. He's on the wrong end of a tight call there. As you say, Mark, I think it was absolutely the right decision. It's going to be Sancho to take. It's there to be attacked by Piszczek, and that's comfortable for Rune Jahrstein. Here is Boyata. Pekarik just couldn't get there. Balerdi. Diligent work.
Yeah, Balerdi did really well there to get back in there, covering defence there. Got some pace there, was able to get there to the ball first, and in the end, also get a goal kick out of it. Well played.
Great and good of Borussia Dortmund, including the club president, Reinhard Raubal. It'll be a big win this for Dortmund. Club that dared fail to qualify for the Champions League. Getting a ticket to European football's VIP club is so very important for all of the top teams in Europe. And Dortmund number themselves among those. And it would also keep the title race ticking. So Dortmund would move to within 7 points of Bayern at the top if they can hold on to or add to this advantage. Morin. We're into the final 5 minutes at Signal Iduna Park. Hertha Berlin have come to Dortmund and they have made life tough, as perhaps many of us expected. Morin. Room to move into, and he's happy to do so. Hakimi's foul.
Yeah, Moret's pass there to Hakimi, even though it was very, very short, was a poor one. It played in behind him and allowed Hertha to get back there and win possession of the ball.
Here is Pekarik. This would be a blow to Hertha's hopes of finishing in the Europa League spots, but they can take a lot of pride in the way that they've come to one of the biggest teams in the Bundesliga and have acquitted themselves really, really well. Here is Pekarik. Might still get something. It's a club with big ambitions. The investor Lars Windhorst has pumped a lot of money into this football club. It's a club that wants to be qualifying for Europe on a regular basis. Made some big signings. Piontek brought in Matheus Cunha, is not involved today because of concussion, was also signed in the winter window from Leipzig. Lyon midfielder Luka Toussaint will arrive before the start of next season. Here's Grujic. Just opened up for him for a second there. He was looking for Piontek. This is a bit awkward, this, for Dortmund. Hooked away by Akanji. Grujic with the header. That's neat and tidy from Sancho. Now Hakimi. He's only really got Sancho to aim for, but he has found him. Moret making a great run through the centre. Reina. So many young players on the pitch for Dortmund. Valerdi. Referee calling a halt to proceedings. We are going to have a couple of changes here. And it's going to be the 18-year-old Lazar Samajic who'll come on to replace Alex Esfine. Samajic is only 18. He's very highly rated. Arne Meyer's coming on to replace Marco Grujic, so fresh legs in the midfield area there. Samajic is a German youth international, made his Bundesliga debut against Union in the capital city derby. 14 goals and 9 assists at under-19 level this season for Samajic. Jarstein on the move. Ooh, he nearly got that wrong. And at the last second, he was able to jab that away.
Yeah, I don't think he really knew what was going to happen there. Was if he was going to get the ball or not. I think initially he thought he maybe wouldn't get there, and he found himself in no man's land. But it was quick enough to use his feet to clear the danger.
Does your heart leap as a goalkeeper when you see things like that?
Well, you know straight away whether they're going to get there or not. You just know if he goes in fully committed, there's a big chance he's going to give a penalty away. Easily said and done.
Here is Sancho. Guerrero, Sancho, Jadon Sancho. Great save by Jarstein. Fabulous goalkeeping. Well, if he got the last piece of goalkeeping wrong, he got that one absolutely spot on to deny Jadon Sancho what would surely have been the goal that sealed victory.
Yeah, certainly would have, and he should have scored. I think he maybe taken a little bit too long to make that fight, to have that shot on goal. He did really well on the side, lays the ball off. Guerrero, fantastic cutback. You know, I don't know, actually, you're watching the replay there, I don't even know if he could have had room to take that first time shot on goal. by the time the second one came along, Hertha had players there to cover, and it made it very difficult. Rudy Jahrstein did really well, made himself really big, threw himself at the shot. Good block.
Here comes Dortmund's secret weapon then, Marcel Schmelzer. Got his first Bundesliga goal in 7 years against Paderborn on Sunday. He set up a goal as well. Here's Samajic. That's lovely skill. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Here's Darida. And they're queuing up here. And Gankam. And it might have hit Boyata and gone behind. I think it did.
He doesn't look happy, Boyata, does he? I think he just caught him completely by surprise. They get the ball to the far post. He's waiting for a ball to be whipped in. Yeah, just catches him by surprise. No chance to get it on target. And another opportunity goes by for Hertha.
I mean, that's the first thing that's caught him by surprise all night, to be honest. He has been absolutely superb for the capital club tonight. So we are into stoppage time. Moray. An important win for Borussia Dortmund in their grasp. Can they see it through? Neatly done by Reina. So heartening to see so many good young players on both teams on the pitch tonight. Just underlining Bundesliga's status as a place where young talents can develop. We're nearly halfway through the 3 additional minutes. Hakimi, Moray. Dortmund looking to finish this one off. No thoughts of sitting back. Emre Can's goal the difference at the moment. Lucien Favre edging towards an important win against his former club. It hasn't been vintage Dortmund. It hasn't been a free-flowing display at all times, but it hasn't been allowed to be because of this disciplined and in-form Hertha team. But Dortmund have nearly done enough. Gankam trying to let it run for Maya. It's not been sparkling, Mark, in terms of goal-mouth incident, but it's been gripping throughout. It's been a really tight contest as the ball is delivered towards Boyata. Don't think Delaney knew that the Hertha man was coming there. One last chance for Hertha Berlin. And maybe not even that. Samajic. The title race is still ticking over. Lucien Favre's men with a big win. The gap at the top is 7 points going into the final 4 match days. Bruno Labbadière's team came. They made life tough for Dortmund, but they weren't really able to test Roman Bürki on a regular basis. Emre Can with the only goal of the game. It was tense and it was tight, but it is Borussia Dortmund who have won this game by 1-0. And Mark Schwarzer still alongside me.